Alright, good evening ladies. In today's video we are going to be going through the most important trade of the entire cycle, and that of course is AI agents. And in this video in particular we're going to be looking at the top AI agent frameworks and launchpads. People are comparing these AI agent frameworks and launchpads, like this is basically the AI agent infrastructure that AI agents can be built upon. People are comparing these infrastructures to the layer 1 trade of previous cycles. Why does that comparison make any sense? Because these launch pads, if you view them as the layer 1s, the applications, so for example a layer 1 that did extremely well in the last couple of cycles was Ethereum. So that's the layer 1, and the application built on top of them was Uniswap or Aave. So that was the DeFi being built on top of Uniswap, or the meme coins being built on top of Solana in this particular cycle. So the L1 is the infrastructure, and then the meme coins or the applications are the AI agents. And if you remember anything from the previous cycles, the L1 trade has always been an absolute banger of a trade. In 2017 that was Ethereum, in the last cycle it was Salana, and looking like it's Salana again this cycle, as well as some new L1s popping up as well. Investing in the infrastructure is like investing in the layer 1s. Obviously the layer 1s always got a massive premium, so a lot of the time they were valued in the billions and billions of dollars. So that's why people are kind of comparing the AI infrastructure to the layer 1s of previous cycles, because there's less risk. Like you're just buying the layer 1, there's less execution risk. It's already kind of, well, there's a huge amount of execution risk, but you're not betting so much on an individual agent, which is just like betting on a meme coin, which has way more competition than a layer 1, or an application being built on a layer 1, which obviously has a huge amount of competition with all the applications being built on that layer 1. We can also compare this AI agent landscape to the DeFi summer run that happened from 2020 to 2021. As you can see from this chart, this got everyone really bulled up on the timeline recently. The AI agent space is like looking somewhat that it's mirroring the DeFi run of 2020, and only looks at maybe a quarter of the way through what DeFi summer happened, what happened in DeFi summer in 2020 and 2021. And you know, every cycle is bigger than the previous cycle, so who knows if that's actually the maximum valuation that these AI agent platforms could reach. So for me, I've been talking about AI agents for a long time. Now, I wasn't super early on any of these AI agent framework plays. Like, I suppose we're still relatively early, but what I'm trying to say is that I'm incredibly bullish on AI agents. I do think they're kind of the next evolution of the internet. This is like, I know we have Web 1, Web 2, Web 3, and now Web 4 is kind of what AI agents are. Like, I know we kind of haven't even fully built out Web 3, but Web 4 is how we're going to use the internet in the future. We're not really going to be using the internet ourselves. We're going to command an AI agent to use the internet for us and do whatever we want to do on the internet on our behalf. Now, obviously, we're not going to ask it to browse Twitter for us, but you know, if we want to get some yield on Ethereum, we'd like give it some money, say, get me the safest risk to reward yield on Ethereum right now, or I don't know, find me the answer to this question. All sorts of things. Anything that can be done by a human is in the future probably going to be done by an AI agent. So AI agents are just going to absolutely take over the next few years, and crypto is kind of the perfect breeding ground for that, in the fact that it's permissionless, there's no KYC, you know, it's just kind of a free-for-all place. It's like the wild west. You can build whatever you want and no one can stop you. So that's perfect for this really cutting edge technology that's coming out in AI agents. So that's why this crypto mesh with AI is really perfectly suited for AI agents. So since my last video on AI agents, all the plays that we mentioned in that video have been on an absolute tear. AI16z, ARC, virtuals have all been absolutely ripping, and as you can see, it's outperforming everything else in the crypto space. Now, do I know if this is a local top? Obviously, this has massive mindshare right now on crypto Twitter. Could it be a local top? Of course it could be a local top. Do I think it's the top? Absolutely not. So it's up to you whether you obviously have to make your own investment decisions if you want to FOMO in or if you want to wait for a dip. But hopefully maybe you're already somewhat allocated to this niche. And we're going to be focused on the infrastructure plays again in this video. I kind of think that's the best thing to do from a risk to reward perspective at this particular moment in time. But I will do a follow-up video on the best AI agent plays. I haven't really bought very many just yet. I think, there is a lot more risk with that. So kind of the first thing you do is you buy the layer 1 and then you buy the meme coin. Usually you don't do the inverse unless you're really late. Okay, so let's explain what an AI agent framework is and then what an AI agent launchpad is. And then we'll go through the top ones and I'll give you my thoughts and opinions on each of them. So a framework is a set of tools that you can kind of copy and paste. So instead of you having to build the entire agent by yourself, you can just copy this set of tools and customize as much as you want on top of your agent. So it's like a template. A good analogy that I thought, if you've ever used Shopify, instead of having to build your entire website from scratch, or if you want to build a website, a lot of people use WordPress. So instead of having to build the entire website, you just use WordPress, which has a load of different templates that you can pull from and create your own perfect. So these frameworks kind of give you everything that you would need for an AI agent, from being able to understand language, actually being able to deploy the agent, scaling and decision making, everything that an AI agent would need to be able to do. These frameworks have templates that you can basically pull from. So then the dev of the website or the Shopify store, so in this case the dev of the agent would, for example, give it the training data, and kind of the main thing it would decide is what is the role of this AI agent and what is the goals of this AI agent. What do we want this AI agent to be able to do? And obviously you can insert any functionalities that you'd like for your particular agent. So I think the best way to determine which is the best framework and the most useful framework is which is pumping out the best AI agents. Like where are the most useful AI agents being made from? Which framework is producing the best ones? They're probably the places that the best devs are going to be working on. And you can't just think right now, where are the best AI agents being built right now? You want to think, where are the best AI agents going to be made in the future? Because that's where the most value is going to accrue to the layer 1. And the layer 1 in this case is these AI agent frameworks. So I hope that makes sense. I'm a complete retard, so all this is very complex for me, so I hope my explanations make some sort of sense for you. So right now people are saying the frameworks that have the most GitHub repos, like the developers are using this framework the most, that's going to be the most used. Like there's some debate there. And then other people are saying no, the frameworks that are the easiest to use, that require the least code, and I can just say I want this agent to do X and just click the button and a perfect agent is formed. That's kind of the most bullish scenario. So the jury is still out on whether these kind of no-code frameworks are going to be more popular than more customizable frameworks. So an analogy in the Web 2 world would be a no-code website builder is the likes of Wix and WordPress, and as you can see, they're way more popular than React.js, which is like a fully, like you're basically building your entire website by yourself. So I'll mention which of the following frameworks are kind of more no-code frameworks as opposed to, very customizable frameworks. So this is an overview of the different frameworks, and these are all part of different projects in the space. So Eliza is AI16z, Game is Virtuals, ZeroPi is ZeroBro's framework, Ray is Ray's framework, Rig is Arc's framework. All these frameworks have different specializations, so it depends what kind of agent that you want to build might determine which framework you use. All right, so now I hope all that introduction kind of gives you an overview of what the different frameworks, and basically there's also the Launchpads as well. Launchpad, that's kind of just like a pump fund. All of them are building frameworks. All of these projects are building frameworks, their own frameworks, and they're also building their own launchpads, or already have their own launchpads. A launchpad, you can just think about it as a pump fund for AI agents. So much simpler to understand than the framework. So now moving on, let's dive into the first project. And that's the biggest one we're going to be talking about, Virtuals. So they have their own framework, they have their own launchpad. Their launchpad is by far and away the most popular at the moment, and they kind of kick-started this whole AI agent launchpad idea, and they have a really nice incentive loop with the token mechanisms. So if you want to launch an AI agent using the Virtuals launchpad, it's the most trusted launchpad, it's the oldest launchpad, it's the most well-known launchpad. So if you want to use their launchpad, you have to use Virtuals. You have to lock up a load of Virtuals tokens, and if you want to actually buy the AI agent token that's created on that, like if you're an end user and you want to be one of the co-owners of one of these AI agents, you have to use virtuals to buy that AI agent's token. So there's a lot of positive feedback loops with the token, and that's why the token has been pumping so much. So as you can see, this is the cumulative number of AI agents that have been made on the virtuals platform. Obviously there was a massive boom around the end of November and start of December, and it's tapering off a little bit, the amount of agents being created. But yeah, you can kind of think of AI agents as their own meme coins or their own applications being built on these AI agent networks. So they all try and do their own thing. So it's a no-code platform. So it's really easy to launch agents on virtuals, and they also have their own framework, which is called Game. And I don't think a lot of the AI agents are actually using their framework. So I don't know how much that actually matters, that their framework isn't so popular and being used right now. But the framework is called Game. It has its own token. But, you know, the top AI agents that have come out of virtuals, like the only one that actually used the Game framework is Luna, which was the actual first ever AI agent built on virtuals. So just a quick intro into what kind of AI agents have been performing well. It's AI agents that are doing useful tasks right now, or providing real value already. So Luna is kind of an AI influencer, which, you know, doesn't really provide a huge amount of value now, and I incorrectly bought a load of Luna and it hasn't performed that. It's kind of gone sideways or up a little bit since I bought it. But AI agents that are providing real useful use cases right now, like AI16z, have gone absolutely crazy and pumped so much because people are actually getting a lot of value from AI16z. And if you want to have a private conversation with AI16z, as an example, you need to have a certain amount of the AI16z tokens. So like I said, AI16z didn't use the Game framework. They just used the virtuals token Launchpad. So that doesn't really matter too much to the, like, obviously it would be been a little bit better for virtuals, the token price, if they use the Game framework, but by far and away the most important aspect is they're using the Launchpad. So the framework is called Game, and then they also have their own Launchpad, which is their main product. Now the tech with virtuals is actually really interesting and really strong. Well, for each of these agents, they're using an ERC6551. So basically this agent has control over its own wallet, and it's basically like its own entity living on the blockchain. So you can kind of think of it like ERC6551 is like an NFT that has ownership of a wallet that can like control funds and send and receive transactions as well. And virtuals has been in development for years, and they've really done right by their community. They crashed like 97%. They rebranded, they moved their focus from, I think they were in gaming to begin with, and they moved their focus to AI agents, and yeah, have been absolutely crushing it since. So they have good tech, they're on base, but they're already a massive market cap. Now let's move on to the second project, the second biggest market cap, and that's AI16z. And this was created originally as a DAO that would be like an investment DAO. So you could invest in the investment DAO, and this AI agent would invest and try and grow the pie of this investment DAO. But they've actually expanded. Now they're coming out with their own framework. They've come out with their own Launchpad as well. And yeah, because of these things, the token has gone absolutely nuclear as well. It's absolutely going crazy. So Shaw, the creator of AI16z, he was not involved in crypto and was just an AI agent researcher, not involved in crypto, and just came into it recently after seeing the rise of GOAT and the rise of virtuals, and didn't really know what was going on, how the crypto community worked. But despite some hiccups in the beginning, has been absolutely crushing. So you want to kind of be betting on these innovators in the AI/crypto space. The guys, like all of these projects right now are still a work in progress. So you want to be able to think, okay, which teams have the smartest minds, which teams are building the fastest and building the most interesting things, because these projects are all going to look different in a matter of months. So what are they going to look like in a few months' time? And is it still going to be as bullish in that particular future? And AI16z is definitely continually innovating, has probably some of the smartest minds in the entire world in this space anyway, for sure. So AI16 is fully open source, so that has some advantages. So it's not a black box, so anyone can kind of contribute to the code, anyone can kind of contribute and make the project better and the framework better. They use the TypeScript language, so that's pretty versatile. And because of these factors, it has become the highest rated or most starred GitHub repo in the world for the last couple of months. So that's pretty impressive. So it's very, very popular among devs. So it was their framework, the ELIZA framework, which is the most popular framework and which has the most GitHub repos in the world. So this ELIZA framework is, the best in class at the moment for launching AI agents, and everyone's kind of using it at the moment. But they've recently announced that they're going to be building a Launchpad as well. So they're kind of copying the the Virtuals playbook by launching a pump fund for AI agents. So that's going to be, they're really, really copying Virtuals, and at the end of the day, Virtuals just copied pump fund, kind of. So they all had the bonding curve, and once the AI agent reaches a certain market cap, then the AI agent will be seeded and liquidity will be seeded and it'll be live on a blockchain. So the tokenomics when this Launchpad goes live will be quite similar to Virtuals. So it'll be a positive feedback loop where you need the AI16 token to be able to use the Launchpad. So that's very bullish for the coin. But as you can see, this is their proposal announcement, and they're kind of going to be focusing on AI agent swarms. So what's an AI agent swarm? Quickly, TLDR, it's a group of AI agents all working together on a common goal. So the reason that might be better, like having one agent who's like a master of all trades tends to not work as well as having all, like, let's say 5 specialized agents in different scenarios all working together. So like, it's like an idea of a company or a team working together where each agent is specialized at a certain task and gets delegated that task, so they can talk to each other and they can delegate who's going to be best to do this particular thing. So that's what an AI agent swarm is going to be, and that's, one of the catchy phrases right now. So be aware of AI agent swarm technology, because there's a few projects building AI agent swarm technology. I think that's going to be quite important over the next few months as well. So the next project we're going to be talking about is Zerobro. Zerobro started off as its own AI agent. It kind of showed itself to be the cleverest or the best AI agent, but the team, again, most important aspect is the team building behind it. And Zerebro's team are really, really strong. So as we talked about, AI agents, individual AI agents might be a little bit risky. Like, even though this AI agent was able to create its own music, was putting out the funniest tweets, that's not enough to sustain a good market cap long term, because a better AI agent is eventually going to come along and potentially compete with it. So the Zerobro team are now, again, they're creating a Launchpad, they're creating a framework, and their AI agent framework is called ZerePy, so Zerebro Python. So it's built on the Python programming language, and their Launchpad is going to be called Zentience. Again, very, very similar concept, very similar setup to Virtuals. So bullish the Zerobro token. And as you can see, finally Zerobro has broken out and starting to pump as well from this consolidation range that was going through, because they came out with these announcements recently. Okay, so the next coin we're going to be talking about is ARK. Now this is an even lower market cap play. It's also built on Solana. So just as a recap, if you didn't know, Virtuals is built on Base, Zerobro is built on Solana, AI16z is built on Solana, and ARK is built on Solana. I'm always going to be a little bit biased towards Solana projects. I think, Solana is a more interesting ecosystem for the cycle, but Base is definitely number 2 most important ecosystem. So it's not a bad choice in any regard to be building on Base instead. So ARK is built using Rust, and Rust is a little bit more of a specialized language in the fact that not as many people know the Rust programming language, but it's a lot more programmable, or there's a lot more you can do with Rust, and the very top developers of the world often think Rust is the best language. So although it's not the most used, it's the most versatile in what you can actually do with it. So ARK being built on Rust has some advantages in the fact that the best developers might come to ARK and build really, really interesting agents that can't really be built on any other programming language. But the downside with being built on Rust is it's going to be harder to like be interoperable with, like if you want your AI agent to interact with some application that's not built on Rust, you're gonna have to code that yourself and make it work. It's gonna be a little bit more tricky to make it work. So that's the downside being built with Rust. But a lot of people, a lot of very smart teams are apparently building on Arc. And there's a lot of really, really interesting, well, not a lot, a few really, really interesting agents that are going to be launched on Arc in January. So it has really, really good code. The Arc framework has really good code. It's attracting some really smart people. So you can kind of think of this framework as a quality over quantity framework. So some really interesting agents are apparently going to be released soon on Arc, and it's the lowest market cap. So, you know, it's actually my biggest bag out of all the coins I mentioned here. Arc is my biggest bag. I think it's probably the best risk to reward because really, really interesting tech and built on Solana, built with Rust, and stuff hasn't really released yet. So, you know, we can buy the rumor and sell the news we're kind of front running these really cool agents that are supposedly going to be coming out soon. Some other bullish catalysts for Arc is that it's somewhat likely or probable or possible that they will be partnering with Salana at some point. I know Griffin is another AI agent framework that has partnered with Solana, came out of a Solana hackathon. However, I think there's a good chance that because it's also built in Rust, Solana partners somehow with Arc. And the other thing I'll mention is Arc is also doing the AI agent Launchpad as well, so they're bringing their own out. So everyone's kind of copying the Virtual's playbook. So Virtual isn't just in a league of its own, everyone's kind of copied what has helped them so much to reach such a high valuation and for their token to perform so well. Okay, I want to do a conclusion, but there's also some honorable mentions that I don't want to dive too deep into because there's probably a long enough video already. One that I've recently I top blasted is Ray, really, really good tech, so REI, and this is on base. And I've just seen some gigabrains shilling this one, so I top blasted it. Might not work out well at all, but their architecture allows for much more reasoning. And another one is Griffin, the one that I mentioned that came out of the Solana hackathon, has been shilled by Anatoly, the founder of Solana. And the last honorable mention that I'll mention is Vapor, and this is built on Hyperliquid. So, you know, I said Solana is the most interesting place to be developing, base number 2, Hyperliquid potentially also number 2, definitely one of the big L1 trades for this cycle, and Vapor is an AI agent launchpad being built on Hyperliquid and apparently has very good tech and the lowest market cap coin that I've mentioned in this video. So I own a little bit of it. Let's see what happens. It's also partnered with AI16z, so that's why it's been performing well. Now, to conclude, I've just kind of bought a bag in all of these frameworks. It's kind of hard to know. For me anyway, I'm pretty left curve, so diving deep into which is the most technologically advanced right here is kind of hard to determine for me. So I bought a bag of all of them. The market is kind of determining which are the winners. And then from that point, I'm going to start looking into the individual agents because obviously that's probably where the highest potential returns can be, but also much higher risks as well. So having a basket of these, I think that's probably a good play for the cycle. That's how I'm playing it, not financial advice, obviously. And I don't think this is going to be a winner takes all scenario. I think all of these trades can do well. All of these platforms, all of these projects can do well over the next year because a lot of innovation is going to be happening in this particular niche. All right, so I have extreme FOMO on all of these projects. I just want to ape my entire portfolio into them. So I don't know if that's a bullish or bearish signal. I haven't done that yet. Maybe I'll wait for a pullback and add more to these positions. But yeah, it's very clear that this is one of the sectors that you want to be paying a lot of attention to in this cycle. So really hope you enjoyed this video. Hope you learned something, and sorry if it was a little bit all over the place. It's very complex, this new niche. There's a lot to learn, and yeah, it's kind of just getting started. So anyway, thank you for watching. See you in the next one. Cheers.